Hello and welcome to the first Star Citizen roadmap update of the year of 2024. This ratifies some of the features that we knew were turning up in Alpha 3.23, but also reveals some of the new ones and gives us context and a level of expectation of how the first iterations of some of these features will look. With Star Citizen Alpha 3.23, CIG have said they are now targeting an April 2024 release for the patch. I'm expecting this at the end of April now as well, so on paper it was supposed to be end of March, and obviously they've pushed that back a little bit. So the patch is pretty packed with features, and CIG are trying to get things like master modes in, which are going to take a ton of iteration before they can actually release them. Interestingly as well, there's some additional features that are turning up in Alpha 3.23 that Cloud Imperium are revealing here. But please bear in mind that these features are planned for somewhere in 3.23 cycle. They might not be present at the initial release, and sometimes features slip, change, whatever, so bear that in mind. This isn't set in stone, but this is the plan. Cloud Imperium also said there's been an update with the replication layer. They said testing continues for this important update to the persistent universe's back end. This release will remain fluid in regards to timing as edge cases are solved and performance is optimized. They're moving this feature to the Alpha 3.23 column, but they say keep an eye on Spectrum and the tech preview channel for the latest replication layer tests and information. It looks likely it's going to turn up in 3.23 at some point in that cycle at the moment, but it is going to be dependent on how the tests go. Tests are ongoing for the replication layer. I believe at time of recording, they're literally testing it now on the tech preview build. And this is going to be amazing because it will allow for things like server meshing to then exist and server crash recovery. So you 30k, but you don't, and it reconnects you to another server that it sort of moved everything over to. It allows a framework for a load of network updates as well. More Alpha 3.23 features. The star map rework, one of the things I am most excited for. They are implementing the new and improved star map with improved visuals and usability, including easier search and trip planning functionality. There's a bit of magnetism there as well, so you can actually select easily locations to travel to. It looks much better than what we currently have, and it appears that it will work consistently, which is something I'm very excited for. Directly related to this as well, there's the FPS map system, mini-maps. So they're basically implementing mini-maps for HUDs as well as interior maps for FPS gameplay, helping players stay orientated in close quarters encounters. This is going to mean that some ships, hopefully a good range of ships, and some landing zones in this patch are going to be available as part of the mini-map system, but not all. So bear that in mind, they will add more later. Mobiglass rework. Reworking the Mobiglass system to use building blocks, which will also allow for easier development of Mobiglass apps. This update includes the reworked Home, Maps, Contract Manager, and Journal apps. We do know that Cloud Imperium are also building a shopping app that is supposed to turn up in Alpha 3.23, and we saw at CitizenCon what the sort of Mobiglass for Squadron 42 was supposed to look like, and it's going to have very similar vibes, although that was a military Mobiglass. It's going to be having the similar functionality and sort of updated in similar ways. Personal and instanced hangars, creating new tech that creates an instance of the player's hangar to allow for uninterrupted management of cargo, inventory, and vehicles. Personal hangars are found at the player's home location and allow for customization and organization of the hangar interior. Now, that's still quite vague to me. It sounds to me like you have a single personal hangar, which will be at your home location, but you won't have them at other landing zones, at least at this stage. You'll go there and you'll sort of have what we currently have, but have cargo elevators. But this sounds like you have a level of customization and a level of persistence that you don't normally have. Really interested to see how that actually plays out. Please tell me in the comments below what you think exactly that means and how that's going to be implemented, because Cloud Imperium have not gone over the specifics of what's happening for this release for that. What we do know more about, and that's part of this, are freight elevators. This is the implementation of systems and content for players to physically load and unload cargo to and from their ship by conveying cargo to and from hangars, landing pads, garages, and docking collars. You will be able to basically go into your persistent hangar, and then you'll be able to call up a freight elevator with whatever you want to that's at that landing zone, and then you can move that stuff that you've bought from that landing zone onto your ship, and vice versa. You can take cargo that you've got from your ship, put it onto the freight elevator, and then it will be in the inventory of that landing zone, so you can then sell it. Interestingly, it mentions docking collars there as well, so I suspect there's going to be freight elevator entrances near docking collars that you can bring cargo up and down onto. Item bank and unique item recovery. Adding item bank kiosks to the persistent universe, allowing players to retrieve and store FPS items at multiple locations. This addition will also allow players to retrieve lost account-bound items such as subscriber flair. This is cool because this allows you quick access to FPS items that you might want to literally grab quickly and you don't want to faff about with going to your hangar or whatever. There's very specific areas where you can get these items in and out of. You can't just go open up your inventory and move stuff to landing zone point of interest for storage anymore. It's going to be each item is in its place, be it your personal hangar, your ship, on your character, at these bank kiosks as well. So I'm assuming that bank kiosks will share inventory between them in a zone, and the ability to get your account-bound items back now without having to reset your account. Awesome. I hope they create missions in the future as well for, well, someone's effectively stolen that item. They've stolen my gold suit. Put a bounty on them or send people after them. There's a new mission set, cargo hauling, making use of freight elevators. This mission type will have players hauling large quantities of cargo to earn both Alpha UEC and reputation. If you want to truck around in space, if you want to do that at a large scale, there is now going to be missions for that and the loading and unloading. I think some people are going to really enjoy this. Other people are going to really hate it. So if you want to do cargo hauling, that is now truly a thing for you. Dynamic crosshairs. Combat helmets now support the dynamic crosshair, which allows for quicker target acquisition in close quarters situations. Basically, shows you exactly where your gun's pointing, makes the crosshair very easy to aim with, in my opinion. EVA Tier 2. Extra vehicular activity, flying outside your ship in 0G. So there's a much smoother traversal for this now. Later iterations are going to introduce limited EVA fuel and encourage the use of 0G push and pull, and the use of the tractor beam to sort of pull yourself along as well. But in this version that we're getting with the initial update, it's going to improve all the animations, have you janking around a lot less, and everything a lot smoother. You're going to be flying around like Iron Man in space, propelled effectively by jets from your EVA pack. FPS loot screen. They're introducing a new looting screen for critical items so that you can grab quickly, allowing for more reliable inventory management in tense situations. We saw this at CitizenCon. Absolutely fantastic. Can loot ammo directly to where you need it so you can use it immediately. Absolutely fantastic. Visor and lens HUD rework, converting the visors and lens system to building blocks for improved performance and flexibility, sort of bringing all the game systems and the HUDs and mobiGlass and all of that stuff up to the same sort of gold standard here. New character customizer, implementing an overhaul of the player character creator for Star Citizen, including a new interface and additional customization options. We know there's facial hair, new hairs, a better DNA sculpting system, new heads, makeup, hair dye, lots of stuff there. Going to make lots of people very happy. I'm assuming that will also propagate to NPCs, so there's more variety of them as well. Distribution centers, creating new traversable areas offering gameplay opportunities in corporate industrial environments. This initial release includes the surface levels of the facilities, with underground areas coming in a later update. So the underground areas are the sort of massive networks that they were working on a while ago. With the distribution centers, we know there are things like raids and lots of different mission content planned there in the future. Not 100% sure what we're getting content-wise with that initial release, though. These are going to be reasonable-sized landing zones that you can do a load of shopping, selling, missions, all that sort of jazz at least dependent on their archetype and your affinity with them. A new dynamic event, Blockade Runner. I say new. Introducing a new dynamic event that involves a criminal faction, Ninetales, locking down a low Earth orbit station, LEO station, basically one of the stations around a planet, and the L1 and L2 rest stops. Players must run the blockade and purchase and sell a percentage of Quantanium before the time runs out. This is an evolution and improvement to the Ninetales lockdown mission. I believe they've also made it a bit more modular so they can actually more easily chop and change who is blockading at any given time, but obviously for this one it's the Ninetales. It sounds like it is more PvE against the Ninetales. I'm interested to know if there's any PvE aspect of it at all. Reputation, hostility. This is actually quite a big one. Adding a new feature to the reputation system where players will encounter AI that are either friendly or hostile based on their reputation with the organization the AI or NPC belongs to. This also includes different friendly fire thresholds and defense responses, but you will have a security assisting you. You might have the Ninetales assisting you based on your reputation with them and where they are and what's happening. So interesting to see exactly what affects reputation. It might be literally everything you do in game. Taking out a target might increase your reputation with one faction and decrease it with another, that sort of jazz. Player interaction experience. Implementing the updated player interaction experience, a holistic array of complementary features and systems, all related directly to the player status, item status, environment status, as well as interactions with both the game world and the objects within it are covered under these systems. This should make the game much easier to deal with when it comes to inventory management and picking up items, interacting with items, being able to grab something from a pile, going, oh, I want to do this, and it sort of happens more naturally without you going, I've got to press these buttons, and why can't I pick it? I've dropped, less jank, more refinement, more good. Master modes. Implementing new modes to vehicles to manage their speed, components, and role-specific functions. This release introduces nav and SCM modes, as well as complete retuning of all ships. This is quite a huge thing, getting master modes in here, so you can play master modes in the experimental builds or in Arena Commander at the moment. So check that out, because they need those sort of improvements and feedback for master modes to get it into a good state for 3.23's release, or when it's hopefully released during its cycle. But yeah, master modes, nav mode, basically you're traveling fast. You've got no weapons or shields though. You can quantum travel, you can quantum boost. Well, actually you can't quantum boost yet technically because they haven't got the new quantum system in, but you can quantum travel and you can go above your SCM speeds. In SCM mode, you can't go above your SCM speeds other than using Afterburner for a little bit, and you do have access to your shields and weapons, but you don't have access to quantum. Part of this is all trying to get the ships in a better position for dogfighting, where dogfighting is done a bit closer and feels a bit more interesting and visually appealing, while also giving a great combat experience. I'm interested to see where this goes, and I want to continue giving feedback on it based on my hands-on experiences of it, and I recommend that everyone that can gets involved with Master Modes tests and gives their feedback as they try it. Beyond all that, we know that Cloud Imperium are doing some updates to the economy, or at least they've got that planned. There's also plans for updates to Xenothreat both before Alpha 3.23 launches and during its cycle. So there's some major updates there apparently with lots of stuff. And there's various other features and surprises that are going to be part of 3.23 that Cloud Imperium have yet to reveal. And some of them are going to be, well, you're going to have to actually play it to see them. And we don't know what ships will be ready for the release either of this patch, but CIG are working on loads currently. That's not all though. There's also a Alpha 3.22.1 patch in PTU at the time of recording that has a new feature in Arena Commander Gravlev Racing. This is a new experimental mode where you fly around or hover around in Gravlev vehicles in the Snake Pit Reverse, Clio Islands, River's Edge, and Shifting Sands maps. So a new way of racing with those hover vehicles. Boom! That's it for your roadmap update today. Really happy with that roadmap update. A load of stuff in there. It wasn't just a rehash of what they showed on Inside Star Citizen and Star Citizen Live either. They talked about some new features there, gave us a bit of context about what the implementations of the features that we already knew were coming are. Awesome. Really surprised and excited to hear about cargo missions. Look, really, really excited to see that. Obviously, with the economy updates as well, they sort of got planned, and the way they want cargo to be in its place, have a physical location for a lot of this, is pretty exciting. Now, I'm interested to know what you think the implementation of those personal and instanced hangars are going to be. Now, am I just going to have an instanced hangar wherever I go? Like, wherever I go to a major landing zone? Is that what it's saying? But I'm going to effectively start with one where all my items are, and then I can go to other places and store my equipment at another major location's hangar? Or do I only have access to the cargo and freight elevators there? I'm really interested to know how that's all going to be implemented, and if it's just sort of like I'm overthinking it. What features there are you looking forward to the most? Are you hoping that something else makes it into 3.23? If so, what? What vehicles and ships do you think might turn up in 3.23 as well? We do know that Cloud Imperium are working on a load. Whatever your thoughts or questions, I would love to hear from you in the comments below. People always ask me, what's your favourite ship? And I always answer, it's NordVPN with its powerful loadout. It wrecks pros and noobs alike. I can cruise around the verse with the added security that online threats aren't as much of a big deal. It also deals with intrusive ads like this one and gives you a greater accessibility to content you may want to watch on other platforms. I can watch Japanese Netflix. Is that even a thing? Maybe. You can find out with NordVPN. It is worth mentioning that CIG and Star Citizen don't actually produce a NordVPN ship yet, but NordVPN is available separately from the links below, and clicking those does help me buy spaceships, so it's basically the same thing, right? Go to nordvpn.com/BoredGamer. Get Nord, give ships. I don't know. That's an amazing promo. Every month, we give away a ship for Star Citizen. For February 2024, we're giving away a Drake Corsair Explorer with lifetime insurance and a game package. Everything you need to play and explore Star Citizen in style. All you need to do to be in for a chance of winning that is comment on any of my videos made during this month. It is as easy as that. More details in the comments below. A massive thank you to everyone that goes the extra mile in supporting the channel. It is with your support we are able to make daily Star Citizen videos. If you want to be one of those lovely people, then please check out the join button under my videos. That will help you become a channel member. There's Patreon, there's direct donations. All the links for all of that are down below. But there are loads of non-monetary ways you can help support us. Commenting, sharing, liking, all of that sort of stuff goes a huge way in helping the channel grow. Thank you so much for watching to the end, and you have a great day.